The Galactic Council chamber loomed vast and imposing, a testament to the unity, or at least the tenuous agreements, that held dozens of species together across the galaxy. It was built of towering metals and refracting crystals, casting a shimmering light across the seated representatives. This assembly of alien beings, varied in size, color, and biology, gathered regularly here. Today, however, an unusual tension hung in the air. Something had shifted, a subtle but undeniable weight pressing upon the members, sparking whispered speculations. As the room filled, eyes began drifting to one figure seated near the center, a human diplomat, the representative from Earth. Humanity was a relatively new member of the Galactic Council, and their appearance was always met with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. To other species, humans were an anomaly. Known for their boundless adaptability and fierce loyalty to their homeworld, humans had quickly earned a reputation for resilience. This particular diplomat sat quietly, hands clasped and gaze steady, exuding a calm that belied an intensity simmering just below the surface. It was as if they were preparing, waiting for a moment to break the silence. Some council members wondered about the humans' purpose in today's meeting. Humans didn't usually draw attention to themselves in these gatherings, but something felt different. Despite their restrained composure, there was a palpable gravity surrounding the diplomat, an indication that whatever they would say, it wouldn't be trivial. Soon, the main issue was introduced, a recent skirmish in an outer system, where a cluster of human outposts had been attacked. The details were vague, the attackers' identities unclear, and the council members debated the matter with varying degrees of concern. Several voices chimed in, discussing the possibility of rogue factions or pirates. To most present, this was nothing more than a blip in the vastness of interstellar politics, a small-scale conflict on the galactic periphery, far from their own worlds. Some representatives leaned back, murmuring that it was probably a territorial misunderstanding. For them, human outposts were little more than distant colonies, mere specks on the galactic map. Why should a handful of space stations and exploration bases warrant their worry? To them, this was the cost of expansion, nothing more. But, even as they dismissed the incident, a few allies of humanity, a small coalition of diplomats from species who had fought beside humans or had benefited from their ingenuity, looked concerned, exchanging uneasy glances. They knew humanity valued their people and outposts more deeply than others seemed to understand. The council was clearly divided. Some saw no reason for alarm, while others sensed that the humans might view this attack with the utmost seriousness. Still, the majority saw it as a minor inconvenience, something not worthy of the council's full attention. The discussion swayed between these factions, moving swiftly from point to point, each voice adding its own assumptions and dismissals. Gradually, though, the chatter died down as attention returned to the human diplomat, who had been silent until now. The human rose, their movements deliberate, commanding a silence that spread through the chamber. The council members paused, sensing a weight in this moment. As the diplomat scanned the room, their gaze was steady and unreadable, and the council members waited, caught in a sudden, collective breath, anticipating words that might reshape their understanding of the events. The human diplomat began quietly, with a calmness that seemed out of place amidst the lingering tension. They spoke of Earth, its diverse landscapes, from lush forests to endless oceans, and the rich cultures that defined human civilization. Their words painted a picture of a planet that was not merely a birthplace but a sanctuary, a place woven into the very identity of every human being. The council members listened, some with detached interest, others with faint amusement, assuming this was a sentimental plea, a predictable appeal to emotion. But then the diplomat's tone shifted, and the air in the room grew heavy. They explained that the outposts attacked were not just strategic installations or mere explorative ventures. These outposts were extensions of humanity itself, built by people who saw them as a continuation of their world, their home. To humanity, they weren't cold metal structures on far-off planets, they were vibrant communities, echoes of Earth crafted in distant space. Families lived and worked there. Friendships and bonds were forged there, under the same stars that shone on Earth. An attack on these outposts, the diplomat continued, was an attack on their home. It was as if someone had set fire to a city, ripped families apart, and shattered the peace they had so painstakingly built. The Council had made a grave error in underestimating what this meant to humanity. For humans, home wasn't confined to a planet or a singular location, it was a shared commitment to one another, regardless of the distance from Earth. And to strike at that was to provoke humanity in a way that no outsider had before. The diplomat's voice grew stronger, detailing humanity's legacy of resilience. For millennia, they had survived on a planet filled with both beauty and relentless challenges. Earth had seen them endure devastating wars, rebuild after cataclysms, and come together in times of crisis, each struggle forging their collective spirit. They had faced down natural disasters, disease, and even internal conflict, and yet, each time, they emerged more unified. There was a saying among their people, they explained, "You hurt one of us, you hurt us all." This attack on their outposts had sparked that unbreakable unity within them once again. Humanity would not stand idly by. They would not falter or forgive, not when their own had been threatened, not when their home, in all its forms, was under attack. This was their unwavering promise, humanity would rise to protect their own. It was not a declaration of war, but a reminder, a warning. And as the diplomat's words echoed through the chamber, a silence settled, and the Council members realized, perhaps for the first time, what humanity was truly capable of. A stunned silence filled the Council chamber, as if the weight of the human diplomat's words had drawn the air from the room. Shocked expressions crossed the faces of representatives from dozens of worlds, their usual poise slipping as they processed what humanity's response could mean. Uneasy glances flickered between them, each aware that they had just witnessed a level of resolve they had vastly underestimated. Some wondered what consequences their own worlds might face if they found themselves on the wrong side of humanity's wrath. They had misjudged Earth's people, and that realization now sat heavily upon them. One by one, representatives from humanity's allies spoke up, voices steady as they supported the human diplomat's stance. These allies, who had known humanity's capacity for resilience firsthand, acknowledged the Council's misstep in dismissing the attack so lightly. They pointed out that ignoring humanity's calls for justice would set a dangerous precedent, one that could destabilize alliances and risk mutual trust. In solidarity, these allies pushed for reparations, insisting that action be taken to prevent similar breaches in the future. Their words carried an undeniable weight, emphasizing the respect they had for humanity's values and the need to preserve peace. Even those who had previously doubted humanity now felt a grudging respect taking root. Some who had viewed Earth's people as insignificant, just another species navigating the galaxy's complexity, began to see them in a new light. A few representatives who had openly dismissed humanity as inexperienced now found themselves reconsidering, silently acknowledging the price of underestimating a species so devoted to its own. The resolve humanity had shown in the face of threat stirred something even in those who had been skeptical, making them question their previous judgments. The Council, after a long deliberation, came to an agreement. They would open an investigation into the attack, holding those responsible accountable. Further, they committed to establishing protections for Allied outposts, seeing now the importance of unity and alliance over isolation. The human diplomat's words had resonated beyond the immediate threat, they had revealed the strength in standing together, in honoring each other's homes as if they were their own. As the Council reached this resolution, there was an unmistakable shift, a sense that they had all been reminded of the responsibility they bore for each other. As the human diplomat prepared to leave, they paused, offering a final statement that lingered long after they had gone. Their words were simple, yet powerful, a reminder of humanity's resilience and their unbreakable connection to the idea of home. The Council members sat in silence, each reflecting on the diplomat's message, knowing it would not soon be forgotten.